Hi, my name is David Knapziger. I'm the CEO of Brand Verity, and we're going to spend some time talking about how to protect your brand in an affiliate program. We've supported a number of global brands over the last 12 years or so, and have learned lots of things through our experiences, both helping them monitor paid search, but also in general identify bad actors in their affiliate programs. This quote from Seth Godin really represents the many touch points with your organization that result in your brand. They don't just happen in marketing, and they don't just happen in one moment. All these things together create your brand perception, and that's what drives consumer decision making. It's why consumers choose you and not someone else. So let's do a little bit of context setting. Why should brands care about protection in the first place? The first thing that comes to mind is the amount of digital spend overall. According to the IAB, in the first half of 2019, in the US alone, advertisers spent $60 billion a year. The key takeaway from all this, companies continue to find value in advertising their brand online. Affiliate revenue in 2018 reached $6.2 billion. Overall, brands today are spending increasingly large amounts of money protecting online, building their brands, and these are absolutely investments worth protecting. Brands are essential to how consumers perceive your company and are comprised of the years of investments across an organization. Brands aren't built in a year, they can be tarnished in a year. Every investment in digital ad spend is ultimately an investment in the brand. So your brand also represents your story and how you differentiate yourself from competitors, your mission and values, and the overall customer experience. The affiliate channel can be a really healthy revenue driver. It can be used to reach new audiences, encourage repeat purchases, increase order size, increase on-site conversion rates, all of the key metrics that most marketers are tracking on their on-site and off-site experience. At the same time, it can also create channel conflict. Affiliates, and for sure this doesn't happen all of the time, and probably doesn't even happen most of the time, but affiliates can intercept existing customer traffic. They can usurp brand loyalty. They can also offer discounts to existing customers or dilute your brand message. One of the greatest risks, and I think we see this in a lot of early stage affiliate programs that maybe haven't been managed particularly well, is situations where affiliates are generating what we like to describe as non-incremental revenue. And the graph of that might look like this. You've got affiliate revenue growing year over year, month over month. On the surface, this looks like a really healthy program that is doing great things for the brand. But when set up against the context of either flat or slightly declining overall revenue, the question then becomes, well, if the affiliate program is going so fast and so rapidly, why isn't the company seeing similar growth? And as you dig in, you'll often find that other channels have decreased in performance. Maybe your paid search campaigns have declined in their ability to deliver new revenue, or maybe your email marketing campaigns, your average order value have decreased. All these could be indications that affiliates are actually conflicting with your channel spend and maybe even pulling customers from there. So it could be a bunch of these things, and we'll touch on strategies to combat each of them. It could be coupons that are driving down order value. It could be paid search direct linking, affiliates who are placing your own ads, or cashback sites where users are beginning their purchase cycle off of your site, or perhaps even beginning on your site and applying for discounts going through it. It could be software, adware, or pay-per-view. These can be particularly tricky for advertisers to pick up, but it might be situations where adware is triggering ads on your checkout page that are dropping affiliate cookies, or flat out cookie stuffing, where affiliates are finding opportunities to drop a cookie without actually sending a user to your site. So we'll now dig into a bit of how you can think about protecting your brand in an affiliate program. The first step is to manage what you can see. As affiliates apply and perform in your program, you should be aware of and monitoring many of the things you can see from those affiliates. You should be checking out their websites and the content that they produce, how they engage in social media, whether they work with browser extensions or other forms of software, and what their email campaigns look like. As an affiliate applies, you'll want to explore all of these things. Make sure that you're visiting their websites and exploring their content, you're looking at their social feeds, you're asking them whether they work with software or they advertise on other software applications, and make sure that you subscribe to any email lists that they might be promoting. And then protect what you can see. So adware and pay-per-view traffic, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Some email, perhaps you're being promoted on a list that's a little bit harder to access. Paid search can be very difficult to identify and monitor when affiliates can use AdWords to target their ads around your geography or around times when you typically work, or even unauthorized web content. Maybe there are affiliate sites out there that they haven't told you about where they're promoting your brand. There are a couple of key strategies, or there are a few key strategies that I think we really believe are essential to protecting your brand in an affiliate program. Keeping in mind that the nature of affiliate programs and the way that the incentive structures are typically built with some sort of cost, some sort of percentage of sale, affiliates are incentivized to get as close to the purchase as possible. I think, it's in the ideal world, you have affiliates participating at all stages of the typical marketing funnel, but the incentives for an affiliate are to really focus on that last stage. So make sure you review your affiliate agreements and ensure that you are absolutely clear in those agreements on what your allowable promotional methods are. Your agreements will identify what you allow affiliates to do and what you don't allow affiliates to do, but also how and what your options are should you find an affiliate doing something inappropriate or that runs against your terms and conditions. Make sure you understand how users get to your website. And I think this is probably, most marketers probably have this pretty well dialed, but perhaps you're new to the company or new to a particular affiliate program. You'll want to make sure you understand what marketing techniques have been successful for your company, because there's a really good chance that they've been successful for your company. You'll find that it also attracts affiliates using similar techniques that may run conflicts with your own campaigns. And then for each affiliate site, understand and validate how a prospective affiliate gets users, right? So why would a consumer come to that site? What brings them there? Is it that that particular site targets a really good audience? They've got an existing set of followers. They run really great marketing campaigns. Chances are, if you can't figure out why someone would ever go there, that may be a good sign that something amiss might be up. And then finally, understand how affiliates send consumers from their site to your site. Look at the pages on your site, or if they're applying, look on the pages on their site where other brands are promoted, and see if it makes sense why they might be sending users to those brands. And then sanity check all these things. Does the experience of a consumer make sense? Is this something you or your friend or your parent or one of your customers, you can imagine going to the site, being intrigued by something discussed about your brand, and then going from there to your site? We're going to walk through a number of examples of what non-incremental revenue might look like, and then talk briefly through some of the strategies that you might use to combat them. So paid search abuse. This is certainly one of the things that we at Brand Verity are super familiar with and help many of our customers combat. This ad that we're looking at here sure looks like Microsoft's own ad, but it was actually placed by an affiliate. You'll notice the display URL is Microsoft's own display URL. And this isn't something that brands enforce themselves, or that Google or Bing enforce themselves. It's ultimately on the merchant to identify and determine if this behavior is allowable or not. You also notice that the search term here, by Windows 10, is a really high intent search word. The user that searches by Windows 10 is probably really likely to purchase Windows 10. And that's one of the reasons why it's also a very attractive keyword for affiliates to run an ad on. Were an affiliate's ad not placed here, I think Microsoft would probably have pretty high confidence that the consumer would go through and make that purchase on Microsoft's own site. In this case, that's what will happen. They'll purchase from Microsoft's own site. That would have happened anyway. But the big difference here is that an affiliate will receive a commission on that purchase. And I think you could argue that they might not have added any value in that purchase transaction. It's also worth noting that this particular ad was found. Microsoft is based in Seattle. They've got a really big presence there. this particular ad did not run anywhere in Washington state. It was only running in geographies outside of Washington in an attempt to hide from the team at Microsoft who might be looking for these types of things. Unauthorized coupon codes can create particularly interesting forms of channel conflict. Perhaps you have a custom code that you email out to users that left a half-filled out cart, or a friends and family code that you give to employees. At some point in time, these codes are going to leak onto the web and are likely to end up on affiliate websites. In this case, this was the Marriott friends and family code before they began using unique codes. But this code leaked on an affiliate website, and it offered tremendously steep discounts on reservations at Marriott hotels. Now, all of the consumers that would visit this affiliate website would find this code and go to Marriott's site and make a purchase and apply the code. And this got to a point that it was so severe that Marriott had to change their redemption rules for this code and required, effectively physical statements signed after the booking was done. But there's a period of time where this was particularly painful to Marriott. So as you think about the codes that you distribute, the coupon codes that you distribute to your customers, recognize that those codes are at some point in time going to leak online, and you'll want to have a strategy for how you engage with affiliates when that happens. Certainly, some networks and tracking platforms provide really great tools that allow you to identify particular codes as non-commissionable, so that if an affiliate were to send a visitor from their site to this code, they won't be commissioned for that traffic. And that'll help create incentives for affiliates to keep these codes off their site, because should they get used, they might lose a commission that they might have otherwise received from a legitimate coupon code. I'm sure folks, if you're not already familiar with Honey, you probably will be shortly. PayPal just bought them for over $1 billion. So we're likely to see a whole lot more of Honey throughout our affiliate programs. But Honey's a software extension that rides atop a browser. And if a merchant is joined to, or if Honey has joined a particular merchant's affiliate program, they will promote coupons and cashback on the merchant's own site. And so what we see here is that we're on the checkout page at Home Depot, and the Honey extension recognizes that and throws a pop-up that talks about the coupons found and cashback. This may be an okay thing from your brand and brand perspective, but it's important to understand what that might look like and what might happen. So as you work and decide whether you want to work with providers of browser extensions and other forms of software, make sure you install it and explore what that experience looks like for other brands. After you begin working with them, make sure that you are continuing to hit the important pages on your site so you can see what that experience is for your consumers. You can decide whether that is aligned or not with your particular brand's intent. DNS and link rewriters. So I grouped these two together because they're functionally the same behavior, although they work through very different techniques. DNS rewriters are affiliates that have partnered with ISPs to rewrite DNS requests for domain name requests and insert affiliate links into those redirections. Link rewriters work with publishers, sometimes software providers, but publishers that might have existing links that point to you and or other brands. And they give those publishers software that rewrites all of those links and turns them into affiliate links. And this has happened a number of times. Every outbound link on Reddit has been rewritten to be turned into an affiliate link. I think this was eventually undone, but it's for sure a thing that happened at one point. The same thing has happened with URL shorteners, TinyURL, and Bitly. At one point, every outbound link on Pinterest was turned into an affiliate link. And so as a brand, this can be particularly challenging because these would have been clicks and visitors that would have been earned organically. That you wouldn't, that consumers and other folks out there writing and discussing your brand have already talked about and added those links. And that traffic, while in the moment may not have cost a lot, it certainly reflects the cost you spent building your brand over many years. When those get turned into an affiliate link, all of a sudden that great word of mouth and organic traffic now becomes something that you pay a commission on every sale for. There's a really funny story where a merchant had one of the link rewriters join their program and instantly surge in traffic and sales. And I think on first blush, they were super delighted by how strongly their program was performing and what a great job this affiliate was doing. A few days later, they noticed that almost all of the referrals were coming from their own site. And so they would go from their site through the link rewriter back to their site. And as they dug into it, they realized that on their consumer-facing blog, their content team had used Bitly to shorten all of the links on their blog back to their site. So they might be blogging about a product or an offer or deal that they were particularly excited about, and then they would use Bitly to send consumers, from their blog to the purchase page on that site. And when they allowed this rewriter into their program, they instantly rewrote, unbeknownst to the advertiser at that point in time, all of those what were effectively internal links into affiliate links. And the affiliate was getting credit for traffic that could not have been more earned and generated by the brand itself. Adware and pay-per-view ads can be particularly difficult for advertisers to uncover. If you ever walk the floor at an affiliate summit, you'll find a lot of companies selling traffic. And what that traffic that they're selling often comes from is software that's been piggybacked or come along with another program that a consumer has downloaded. And that software, I think, is more commonly known as adware and sometimes even malware. The way the adware will often work is they will then create, the company that has distributed the adware will create an ad network, and they will sell advertising on that ad network. And that the software will very often will monitor the requests that a browser makes. And when it finds a URL that and someone else on the ad network has purchased, it'll then trigger a pop over or pop under. And so affiliates, they may not even know that they're using a company that has distributed adware, but they will go and purchase visibility or traffic from one of these ad networks. And the source of that traffic is the adware itself. And so the consumer experience, and this is probably most relevant to you, the brand, is one where they might be on your site and perhaps they've decided to make a purchase on the checkout page. And we talked before about how affiliates are incentivized to get as close to the sales as possible. So an affiliate may have bid on this ad network to display an ad when a consumer gets to your checkout page. And what will happen is that ad will load through an affiliate link and generate another visit to your site, and doing so dropping the affiliate cookie. The consumer may not notice the pop under. Maybe it's a pop over, they notice and close it quickly. But the cookie's been dropped and they go and complete the purchase and the affiliate receives the commission on that transaction. And so this is one of the reasons it's really important as a brand to make sure you understand the flow from when a consumer visits your site through to when an affiliate cookie is dropped, which may happen before they visit or after they visit, through to the actual purchase. And a good indication that something may be amiss is when you see a mid-session a cookie gets dropped and without the consumer sort of continuing to progress through that session. Finally, actually, a few more things to walk through. Namespace abuse. This might be situations where an affiliate creates a fake Twitter or fake Facebook page that uses your brand. It might be fake domain names or misspelled domain names. And many times those can look like your own brand's content and could fool consumers into thinking that it's actually you doing the promotional work. And in many cases that might be fine, and that might be actually a great way to drive additional traffic to your brand. But certainly in others, the affiliate's promotional activities could run counter to how you want your brand represented and how you want to promote yourselves, and it may create conflicts with your own social campaigns. So make sure you both once you've allowed affiliates into your program and occasionally over time, make sure you're searching Facebook and Twitter and looking at all of those accounts that have your brand name in them or as part of their description to make sure that they are either allowed and or brand aligned. One of the things that we see used incredibly often is something that we call a front site. A front site is a website that an affiliate uses to show you and they hope that you perceive them to be legitimate. This is an example of a front site that we saw used on a paid search hijacking of URL hijacking of Groupon. The affiliate purchased ads on Groupon. The search term Groupon used Groupon in the display URL. They sent consumers through a few more steps. The consumer briefly hit this page. They would never see it because they were auto redirected onto Groupon's own site. So if you were to look at your program data, you would see the referring URL for all that traffic to be this site. And so whether you see this site in your referring data or you see it in an application, it's important to look at some of the things that might be an indicator that this is something's amiss. The first thing you'll notice is that there's not really any meaningfully unique and or interesting content here. Sure, there's an Amazon ad, but these articles aren't focused in any particular way. When you click through them, they don't make any sense. The images are very clearly stock images. They're kind of barely even related to the images, to the articles that they're associated with. And so as you think about this site, ask yourself, why in the world a consumer would ever come to the site? What's drawing them here? Who would type this into their domain name, or who would click on a thing and take them here? And chances are you would probably walk away fairly suspicious. Is this a site you would ever send to one of your friends to go look at? Probably not. And that, if you can't figure out why a consumer would get here, chances are that it's probably not adding value to that consumer's experience should one get there. And there's probably something else happening. There's a really great tool that offered by SimilarWeb that allows you to go take a domain and get a feel for where their visitors come from. And they show you both when they get organic traffic and paid traffic from Google. If you see a domain and you're suspicious about it, go to similar sites, put it in there, and look at their paid traffic. If you see that they're getting a lot of paid traffic from Google and it's on keywords that have branded terms on them, that's a pretty good sign that the affiliate probably isn't telling you the whole story about where their visitors are coming from and how they'll engage with you in your program. So there are a number of things that I think would be great for you to be thinking about doing today and later this week. So today, certainly take a look at your calendar and notice when you'll be out of town and traveling either for personal or work. And put a little reminder in there to do some searches of your brand when you're traveling. Go to Google and Bing and do a couple of searches on your brand terms, maybe your domain name, and look at the paid and organic listings. Do all of these things make sense? Do you see these things also when you're in your office? And if you're finding things that you don't see when you're in your office, that's probably a sign that it should be investigated further. You can do similar things, and later this week, we'd encourage you to spend some time to do this. Use a VPN like IPVanish. It's a tool that we use internally for some of our investigations that allows you to pretend to be using an IP connection from lots of different locations. And do a bit of searching from a different city than you're normally in and see if the ads and organic listings match what you would expect them to see. Make sure you review your affiliate agreement. The PMA has a tremendous resource on affiliate agreements. I think it's focused on retailers, but some of the terms that are discussed there are super useful. It talks about the types of things you should expect to see in an affiliate agreement and the decisions that you'll want to make before you write your agreement. So I would say take a look at that and compare that against your agreement and make sure that you're really clear around what promotional activities you want to allow, which ones you don't want to allow, then also really clear on what you can do when you find somebody or you suspect somebody to be violating your agreement. And then finally, take your top 10 affiliates and deep dive to understand how they're promoting you. Chances are you might know your top 10 really well. I would still say it's probably worth a refreshed look. But if you do know them really well, take the next 10. Think about, you want to reduce your exposure to things that might be diluting your brand. And so deepen your examination of affiliates elsewhere in your program. We have lots of great content on our blog. There's, I think, we've got examples of many of the things that we've discussed here, discussions of strategies, how to combat them. We've got a number of free white papers that go through the same thing. So if you're looking for more information on these topics, please feel free to explore there. And certainly ping us with questions. And, we're always happy to help uncover a tricky thing or explain all this in more depth. Thank you all for your time.